Hello, everybody, and welcome to Virtual Bourbon. We've got a really fun one tonight. Fred Mozenter, one of our regulars on these events, actually works for Buffalo Trace. I don't know if you know that or not, but he actually is part of their tasting committee that they've got there. And every once in a while, the tasting panel gets to choose a barrel, and he got to do that for Buffalo Trace. So he's on the hot seat, is what I was saying before we get started here, because we're going to compare that to regular Buffalo Trace like we do our normal tastings. And then we'll go to Fred's, and we'll do it 2 times. We go back and forth twice always, just to see if it evolves. And then we're going to vote, and Fred's going to see that live. We'll be voting live. Do we like Fred's better or the regular Buffalo Trace? Are you nervous at all, Fred?
No.
Either way, it's not a bad game. You got to drink whiskey.
There you go.
Yeah. It's all fun. So very cool. So tell us, before we do all of this, tell us a little bit about the tasting panel, at Buffalo Trace. How do you get to be part of that? Is there some sort of classes you have to take, or do they do some sort of test just to measure you how good of a taste you are? How does this work?
Well, first they test you to make sure you can differentiate between sweet, sour, 4 different. So they didn't do that when I first got on the panel. So I just practiced for 4 months and passed the test.
Okay.
Now they're a little more stringent. So you have to show you can taste different tastes, and then you practice for about 3 months. You have to go at least 3 days a week for like 3 months. And then you take a test, you blind taste. You have to pick out the rye whiskey, wheated bourbon, rye bourbon, and Canadian whiskey.
Wow.
So you have to pick those 4 out blind.
That's not easy, because we know this from doing all the blind tastings that we do. You think, well, yeah, those are very different styles. I'll be able to pick it out. And then all of a sudden you do it blind. It's like, well, yeah. So that's pretty impressive. You had to do that.
The glasses are black, so you can't even
go by visual then. Yeah.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
The first time I took the test, I got 2 right, and then one of the chemists there had me nose it. I nosed it, but I didn't nose it deep enough. Okay. And he had me nose it a little deeper, and I nailed it after that.
Yeah.
From nosing it.
Okay. Yeah. So once you become a member, and that has to feel pretty cool, I would think. I mean, that's a good gig with a big distillery. I mean, this is a big deal. This isn't, small distillery by any means. It's one of our big brands. So that's really cool. But what do you happen on like a weekly basis? Are you doing anything, or is this a monthly thing, or how does it work?
5 days a week.
5 days a week.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes, and again, I'm not an expert by any means, but sometimes I'll get to go in the lab with a master distiller and stuff like that. And I'll see like a table with 60 or 70 pours of bourbon with the little things covering the glass. Is that for like a tasting panel? And I'll see someone come in and just taste a bunch of them. And I don't know what they're doing, though, because I never asked, I guess.
Well, we have these lazy Susan kind of tables, and there could be could be like 80 samples on that one table.
Yeah.
And we usually do the whole table. See, wow. I don't get that many chances to go up there with my schedule, but when I do, I go up once, and you really should taste like 1 or 2 tables and then go away and come back later on.
Right.
Everything is at 40 proof.
Yeah. Okay.
Because we're looking for the taste profile.
So are you trying to target a profile? Are you just trying to say which ones are really off profile, or what's your mission when you're doing all that?
Well, we have a standard that we taste first. That's something that brand that's already been bottled, and then we taste all the samples, comparing it to the standard.
Okay. And like the 80 different samples, is this like 80 barrels that they're planning to put in a batch? Is that why they have you tasting all those, and to make sure that they all will work for that, or?
They would be single barrels.
Single barrels, okay.
For Buffalo Trace and Eagle Rare, we taste the marriage. So it's already batched together, and we just taste the marriage.
Okay, yeah. That's fascinating stuff. And you and I have talked on several of these that, of course, many people know the Buffalo Trace mash bill number 1, mash bill number 2, but that can vary a little bit. You think the brands that are associated with that, but that can vary based on taste too. That's another thing that comes out of those, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. We only have 3 recipes for all the bourbons.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty wild to think about, right? You see all
Mhm.
those products. And I think there's a lot of people that assume probably each one, they're, making it that day. It has its own unique recipe, but that's not how it works at all. In reality, it's
Mhm.
all about aging and taste,
Yep,
and
yep, yep.
those are the factors.
And
So,
if one person on that tasting panel would would say the taste profile is not right, it will not be bottled.
okay.
It has to be 100% unanimous.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. So then does it get kicked out to like a batch situation,
Yeah,
or okay, that's where it goes.
like Blanton's, they would put that in with a batch of ancient age.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So do you ever taste one and be like, this one's so good? Is there ever that sort of thing that everybody's like, this is really the one, or anything like, because yeah, okay. Well, that's good to hear.
I tasted an Eagle Rare one time, and I told them in the lab, I said, I'd buy that barrel myself.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Because
So yeah.
after all the barrels that we offer for the single barrel selection, we taste also
Uh-huh.
to make sure it has the right taste profile.
Yeah. So are you available then? Like if I owned a store, or someone who's listening to this owns like a store and they're doing a barrel pick at Buffalo Trace, can you actually sit on a barrel pick with a retail location or stuff like that? Or is that not allowed?
I've sat in on about, let me see, man, 15 or 16.
Okay.
Oh yeah, if I do the tour for that group, I join in their tasting also if I don't have another tour right after that.
Okay. Yeah.
So
That's good.
I'm like 14 for 18 as far as what they picked.
Okay.
So,
Is that stats on your card? Because the bottle actually came with like a baseball card, and it does have some stats and stuff on the back. So yeah, that's pretty cool. That came with that. So how did this come up where they came to you and said you're going to be, picking this individual barrel? How does that work?
we have a meeting every morning before we start doing the tours and everything. So
Uh-huh.
I'm sitting there, and my boss made the announcement. He didn't tell anybody before that.
Okay.
He even filmed my reaction. I was blown away, man, blown away. Because
Yeah.
this is only the second barrel that's been picked by one of the tasting panel people.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really cool. And then of course it comes into the gift shop, and it ends up sitting on there for what, 3, 4, 5 weeks? No, like 2 hours,
No,
right?
about an
It was,
hour.
yeah, about an
About
hour.
an
It's going like that. So
It was
that,
192 bottles.
yeah. So does that feel like really good? Like, hey, it's all here and gone, or you just kind of bummed? You'd be like, man, I wish I could have bought every one of those. Or so what's the feelings on that when something like that happens to you? Just curious.
I got some off the top. See.
Uh-huh. Yes.
I bought a couple cases myself, and I gave or sold some of them, and I still have a good amount.
Uh-huh. I'm
Oh yeah,
sure. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And ended up going so quick. They said they'd do another one again for the employees or something like that, though,
Well,
right?
they're supposed to, right? Because they didn't. My boss didn't say anything until that day. We all thought the other people in the visitor center would be able to buy it, but there were so few bottles. And he
Uh-huh.
said, and I checked, and I don't know if my boss has put the order in yet for the barrel, but
Okay.
I'm supposed to do one for
Okay.
the employees. Yeah.
Once that happens, is there enough employee purchases to sell out that whole barrel, or will some of that end up in the gift shop, you think?
I think some of that might. I mean, unless we offer it to other employees at the distillery.
Okay. Yeah. So it
But if
depends
it's
on if
just the
it's,
visitor center
yeah,
people,
should be okay. But if it's
mm,
distillery wide, you got a lot of employees there that like bourbon, I'm sure. So
yeah.
yeah, makes sense. And how long you been doing what you're doing, Fred?
13 years,
13 years. So 13 years as a tour guide. That's pretty cool. So
about
if you're at Buffalo,
8 or 9 years on the tasting panel.
8 or 9 years on the tasting
Yeah.
panel.
Wow.
If you're coming to Buffalo Trace and you want to get on one of your tours, could they reach out to you? And if so, how far in advance do you know when you're going to be doing the specific tours?
They'd have to get in touch with me, and I can arrange.
Okay.
I could arrange to do a private tour for that matter.
Whoa.
That would be the only way, really.
Whoa. That's even
Yeah.
better.
Oh yeah, I would. And anybody on here, if you contact me, I'll set up a private tour for sure.
Yeah. That's not a bad deal. That's definitely not a bad deal. So yeah, be a part of that for sure. That's really cool stuff. So and I need to get out there and have you just show me around a little bit. I mean, I love Buffalo Trace. It's such a great distillery. Products are excellent. The grounds are really cool. The history is unbelievable there. So yeah, sounds really good. And we're going to get a lot more into this tomorrow night. But just so everybody knows, you have a career in the liquor industry, but you worked for the state of Pennsylvania, which is a control state, state-run liquor stores and all that. So you were a liquor store employee working for the state of Pennsylvania, correct? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I get a pension. Oh man.
That's sweet, isn't it?
Yeah, sure is. I had to take a civil service test to get the job.
Yeah.
Because it's a state job.
Okay. Yeah. So, and is that how you came into it? Did you always work for the liquor division starting out? Is that what you wanted to do, or did you work some other jobs for the state?
Well, I worked in it when I got out of the Navy in 1970. I was an orderly in a hospital for a little bit. I worked in a warehouse as an order picker for a couple of years, and then my father knew the head auditor for the Liquor Control Board, so he got me in.
That's cool. That's really cool. So yeah, you get there, you make your whole career, and then I assume you just loved whiskey, and is that how you decided to move to Kentucky and go to work for Buffalo Trace?
Oh yeah, I mean in 2002, I was kind of getting into bourbon, and I met Fred Noe in 2002, and it went up from there. So after I retired from the state, I wanted to work in a liquor store, so I wanted to work at a distillery, not a liquor store. Yeah, I wanted to work in a distillery, and here I am.
Yeah. The liquor industry, especially the bourbon industry, is a safe haven for Freds. You got Fred and Freddie Noe, you got Freddie Johnson, you got you, of course, you got Fred Minnick. There's a lot of Freds in this business.
Yeah.
So that's kind of wild. So, all right. So we're gonna start out by tasting just the regular Buffalo Trace. So let's go ahead and pour that one, and we'll chat just for a little bit here as we let that sit for just a little bit.
It's really not fair because the regular Buffalo Trace is a small batch, and my pick is a single barrel. But
right. Do you feel like that tilts to your advantage or your disadvantage here?
Being a single barrel?
Yeah, versus a single barrel. Do you feel? What do you say? It's not fair.
I mean, the single barrels always taste so much better.
Okay. That's what I was going to say. If anything, yeah. And if I'm you, I want to win this thing. We're going to do a vote, and I like everything's a contest. You always want to win. Yeah. So that'll be fun to do. What do you think we're going to, when we get to yours, give a little preview here. What do you think we'll be tasting that is a little bit different than the typical Buffalo Trace?
Oh, a velvety mouthfeel and a lot of caramel, and the spice just explodes in the mouth after it sits out for a while. That's what I found with my pick.
All right. Last question before we taste some whiskey here. If anybody votes against you, is that offer of getting behind the scenes tour then null and void?
No.
Okay.
It still stands.
Okay, that's fair. You're a good man, Fred.
I don't hold grudges.
You're a good man, Fred. All right, let's folks, let's get that. Let's go ahead and pour a second one. Let's pour Fred's before we get started. So we'll give that a little time to sit out too. So we'll pour Fred's, and then we'll talk about the regular Buffalo Trace. It's easy to tell which one is Fred's. Justine did a great job. She put Fred's picture on there, which is cool.
Yeah, it is good.
Yeah, it's kind of cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. Let's again, regular Buffalo Trace first, folks. So
we should have done it blind, actually. That would have been cool.
Yeah. I just didn't want you screaming at anybody or anything. All right. I mean, Buffalo Trace is solid. I remember the first time I got that, and I was, we were talking. This is around the time when I was just, Beam White Label guy, which I still like Beam White Label. There's nothing wrong with that product. But when I taste this, I was like, man, there's so much more going on here for a basic entry level, bourbon. So, I thought that was really cool. So, all right, let's McNew's got a good idea here, Fred. She wants to see maybe we can get some of our crew together. Maybe we'll come as a group. Would that be okay if we had some ABV Network people?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get a group together.
Yeah.
We'll get with you on schedule and things like that. We'll do like
Robin's for giving thumbs up there, and
yeah. So very nice.
I had 19 people on one tour today. So
did you? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we'll get there. Yeah, we'll have you show us around. That'd be cool. All right. Let's talk a little bit about our regular Buffalo Trace. On the nose, I mean, it's really, you get a nice amount of brown sugar with regular Buffalo Trace, I always find. And it's got a sweet nose too.
This smells just like Buffalo Trace.
Okay. It's very insightful, Bill. All right, let's give it a taste, and we'll go around the room. We're going to excuse the legend tonight. He's got all kinds of maladies going on. Hurt back, hurt neck. He gets a bye this week, and then we'll get back on him next week. Let's give this a taste, and then we'll talk about what we're getting from this thing. Fred, you may be in some trouble here. This is pretty darn good, my friend.
It is pretty good.
Yeah. A good mouthfeel here. I mean, it's tasty.
Well balanced. I'm getting that spice on the top of my tongue now.
Getting some spice, absolutely nice peppery spice, but also kind of sweet, kind of orange citrus kind of sweet going on there. So and kind of again, some sort of cake in that. So I don't know, it's good. We'll start with Mike up here. Mike Gaskamp, what are some of your tasting notes here?
So it's really nice. It's good brown sugar candy. There's a little bit of roasted nut in the back. It's Trace. I mean, this is what sits in my decanter for general consumption. So hard to go wrong with it.
Bill, on the taste, you get that same Buffalo Trace note that you got on the nose?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm loving it.
Yeah. It's pretty good. All right, Mr. Murphy.
I always think of Buffalo Trace as kind of that classic bourbon profile. It's just it's got just the hints of vanilla, the hints of oak, everything you expect to see in a bourbon, and it's all there, and it's all there, and it's high quality.
Yeah. All right.
That's what I say. That's what I say at the end of the tour when I'm doing the tasting. I say it's a classic. It's got that classic bourbon taste.
Yeah. That's going to be on our wheel too. The classic bourbon taste. It's going to be. We're working on our own wheel. I'm telling you, this is coming, folks, and it's going to be just our stuff. So it's going to be good when we get it. All right, Barry, what are your thoughts as you taste?
I would agree with everyone. I think it's the classic flavors, but I think you had pointed out a citrus and orange note. I definitely can get that on the palate, but I love this and I hate it at the same time because I wished I could drink it at barrel strength. I wish let me proof it. Let me proof it down because it's so good here at this proof. Just imagine how nice it would be to have a 750 of that at barrel strength.
Yeah, that would be very cool. Very cool. All right.
When people do the barrel selections, they get to taste from the barrel that they picked, barrel proof. They get to get a sample. Yeah.
That's pretty nice. Yeah.
And then all you have is regret after that because it's like, but leave it at that proof.
Yeah.
Not happening though. All right. We'll go to Brad and Sally here. What do you guys think as you tasted this first one?
Pure delicious.
Pure delicious. All right. You think Fred might be in trouble here because he's trying to win this contest?
I'm starting to sweat now.
He's sweating now. Yeah. He started out cool as a cucumber, but I'll be darned if he doesn't represent a great company that's pumping out some good bourbon. So he's got his work set up for him. So.
Yeah.
It's exactly what I would expect.
Okay. All right.
right? Meets expectations.
All right, Fred.
So now we can go, exceeds expectations.
Yeah, Fred's in some trouble here. We'll see. All right, McNew, how about you as you taste this one?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with everybody's notes. It's that perfect, like cinnamon, vanilla, citrus, everything you'd want in a bourbon. Like, I forget who said it. It's your perfect decanter bourbon, right? It's what you want a bourbon to be. It just is. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it's in the hunt for, here's a pour of what is bourbon, because it's hard to explain to someone without having them taste it. And again, this could be, like Brian was saying, just this is the definition of bourbon. You can taste it though. There you go. All right, let's go to the Robinsons.
I think it's almost like an old fashioned in a glass and
Okay.
cherry and some ice. It's delicious.
Yeah, that makes some sense when you're talking. You get a little citrus taste in there.
Citrus
It
and
makes some
the
sense
sweetness
with
of-
classic bourbon taste, a little citrus. That sounds like an old fashioned. So
Yeah, I'm just going to echo McNew. This is about what you want a bourbon to be.
yeah,
It's really good.
yep. How about you, Justine? What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with everybody. I always have a bottle of this on my shelf, so it's your go-to.
Yep. All right, Rob, how about you, man?
Yep, orange and spice like everybody else, and you can just feel the vanilla and caramel just coming out on the back end.
Yeah. Boy, Fred, you're in trouble. Ben, how about you, man? This is all good stuff. You didn't want this good of reviews, I don't think. With you on deck.
Good evening, y'all. Fred's gonna be all right, man.
I know.
If this is this good, then his pick can't be
Okay.
anywhere.
Okay. We're gonna put it to the test.
I'm getting the brown sugar notes and the spice when I taste it. I'm also getting like from the nose and the taste, like the toffee and caramel. It reminds me of like those little turtle candies, if you know what those are.
Yeah.
Like the caramel shell with the toffee in the middle.
I get those every Christmas for my mom. They're my favorite.
Well, we're drinking it tonight, so cheers to your mom. So that's what I get.
Okay. All right. Last but not least, to weigh in before we move on to the next one is Paul. Paul, what do you think?
Yeah, more of the same. It's a well-rounded bourbon. You get those big bourbon notes of vanilla, brown sugar, toffee that everybody says, and I get some oak and some like a little bit of rye on the back end. I mean, it just hits all the main flavor components you want to find in a bourbon.
Yeah. You want to hit a checkbox of flavors. It's sitting right there. So that's pretty cool. Again, for a baseline product out of a company, that's pretty neat. All right, Fred, here we go. The moment of truth. Let's move over to our other sample here. And of course, we'll talk about what we're getting on the nose. All right.
So Melanie said that the regular Buffalo Trace gave her that old fashioned sense. The nose on this one just smells like an old fashioned. It's amazing.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, because you get some of those archer notes like leather and tobacco, but you also get light notes going on there too. And yes, that hint of citrus too is on the nose here. So Fred, you're doing pretty good. All right, but here's the real moment of the truth. Cheers, everyone. Cheers to Fred for setting this up, hanging out the a bottle for us to hold back. That was neat. He did that. So let's try this.
Did good, Fred.
Get that velvet. You forget that velvet.
It's
man.
velvety on the mouth.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
And you really get that spicy burst too.
Yeah.
But it's still well balanced. Still get the
classic notes are there. I want to say, and again, I still get the citrus, but I'm telling you, you finish the old fashioned because there's a little cherry taste in there. Yeah. There's a cherry note there, which of course you'd get in your old fashioned, your garnish. So, Fred, you did pretty darn good here, I think.
Thank you. Longer finish on this too. I think.
Got a nice long finish.
The finish is great. Yes.
Very good.
All right. Let's go around and we'll have everyone weigh in, see if they've got anything else. We'll start with a little bit different group this time. Rob, we'll start with you. Any flavor notes you want to share on the second pick here, the one Fred did?
You know, I was going to make a joke about how this would go really well with Diet Coke, and I just can't. This is so good. Well done.
He
No, I mean,
got scared. He got scared. He was going to do it, but then he got
But
scared.
it's like I can't do it with a straight face, and it's everything that Fred was saying. It's velvety, well balanced. Everything that's been said. This is just, Buffalo Trace is good, but I've always found that a single barrel Buffalo Trace is just some of the best bourbon you can get.
Yeah, Rob got me the other day because it was the day the show came out about on the bourbon show we did about you can't use the word smooth anymore. People get mad about that. and then I said someone even wrote, there was a lot of people that wrote me about it. It was weird. You can always tell when you get a show that really hits a topic because a lot of people will email you and say comments. They want to weigh in on things. But the one guy said on the beer world, it's not smooth that you say, it's clean. That's a clean finish. Was when you don't come up with the words that really describe it. You're just a generic term clean. And then I told that story, and then I said, Rob, what are your thoughts on what we're drinking here? And he's like, oh, that's a good clean finish. And I just wasn't expecting it. I had just taken a drink and it was bad, but you got me good there. All right, Justine, any tasting notes you want to share on Fred's pick here?
So I'm getting a little bit of chocolate on this, and like
okay,
shortbread.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely get the cherry. It's
Yeah,
very good, very velvety, very good.
very velvety. Okay, all right. Let's jump over to the Robinsons.
I'm going to stick with the old fashioned analogy, but this one, like Justine said, has some chocolate, so it's a old fashioned with a chocolate covered cherry.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good. That's good. McNeil. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Neil.
Yeah, since Rob mentioned Diet Coke, this kind of reminds me a little bit. I get the nose and taste of like a fountain Coke when the carbonation isn't working really well, and you get just a little bit more syrup than
it's a little thicker. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Has that sweetness. It's really good.
I'm getting that on the nose right now with that.
It's got this kind of a cola taste to it, or smell to it.
McNeil, how about you? Anything you want to?
I definitely think this is a dessert bourbon, which is a compliment because I love those. So I get like, what is it? Like the dark cherry, like dark forest cake, chocolate forest cake or whatever.
Oh, yeah. The Black Forest cake. Yeah.
Yeah. Black forest cake. Definitely getting that.
Okay. All right. Paul?
Yeah, I'm going to echo what McNeil and Neil just said. The two of my favorite flavor profiles to pick out of a bourbon or whiskey is black cherry and cola, and those are the two that jump right out of this one. I really, really like this.
Okay. All right. Ben, how about you?
I'm just going to say this is my pick for winning. I'm getting all those flavor profiles, and I could drink this so much that my wife would probably just want to give me some papers.
Just sit there and drink away. Yeah. Back when McNew had a porch, this would be one of her porch drinking bourbons where you just drink it till you fall off the porch. Then you know you're done. You're done for the evening. All right, Mr. Murphy, we'll check in with you.
Yep. Love the mouthfeel on this one. It coats a little better than the regular Buffalo Trace. It's got I like the citrus for me is up front, and after that pop of spice toward the lingering finish, I get just hint of leather, and it's a pleasant hint of leather. It's really good.
Yeah. How about you, Barry?
I think that what's more important about this, if we look at how we're describing things, we're getting much more detailed on Fred's pick. So for me, it's a very balance between the velvety, the chocolate cake, the mouthfeel that's such a delicious sweet flavor, but I also still get those spicy notes. So it's kind of balanced, and I think that's why it's more enjoyable, is because we're elevating those notes and it's a much longer finish. compared to the standard. This is delicious, and I think it finishes for me longer with more of the rye, the spicy notes, but cinnamon and some of the more mature spicy notes, but it's that velvety sweet flavor that really makes it balance with those two flavor profiles.
Yeah. Yep. Let's check in with Brad and Sally. What are you guys thinking as you're tasting that one? You had high marks for the first one. How do we do with the second one here?
Oh, the second one. It has such a depth to it that the first one I explained is familiar and comforting me, exactly what I would expect an old friend. And Fred's is friends with benefits. It's taking up a couple notches.
Fred, we'll be calling you about a tour.
All right, man.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun. All right, couple more. Mike, have you weigh in?
Yeah, at first it was the cherry was just so much more popping on the nose and almost to like that, that hard, like a Luden's wrapped in caramel, all in a good way.
Yeah.
But definitely do appreciate the longer finish and the spot. It's just kind of, man, everything's just dialed up to 11. So
yeah,
it's just fantastic.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Bill, your last one we'll check in with.
Okay. So who owns a really old baseball glove?
I do. I've got a
I do. I
really
don't
old one.
play baseball anymore, but every
I
now
keep
and
my
then
glove.
I'll pull the glove out of my drawer, and it's such a comforting smell, the old leather, and that's kind of what I'm getting on this. It's just a real comfortable taste and smell, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad to hear you keep your glove too. I still got mine. Remember back to those glory days. Big power hitter till found out I couldn't hit the curveballs, and then that ended that. But when I was young, I could hit that fastball
Well,
out of the park.
We're gonna have to call you Pedro Serrano now.
Yeah, I can hit it a mile, but yeah, I didn't have the skills to go very far in the baseball career.
Hey,
All
hey,
right.
Steve,
Yes.
can I add one more thing?
Sure.
Did anyone have last year's Eagle 17/18?
I mean, I tried it. Yes, I got a media sample. Justine got to try it too. I let her, but that's been a while ago.
Yeah, so that one was one of the first. I don't get a lot of cola notes in bourbons. But the Eagle 17 last year, or 18 as it technically was strong cola, and this almost reminds me of that. If it had 10 more proof points, it'd be interesting. So Fred, nice job. It almost sounds like a baby of the Eagle 17.
Thank you.
There you go. All right, we've got a process, and we're gonna go through that like we always do. We're not gonna give it. It seems like right now Fred's doing really well, but we always go through a second time, and we can't lock in our vote because votes have changed over the second time. We're going to go through the process. Fred's going to sit through the whole thing here and make sure we do this correctly. So I don't want anybody to come back and say, wait a minute, well, you didn't do this. So Fred, we're going to go back to our first pick, which is the regular Buffalo Trace. We're not going to call on everybody this time. Feel free to, make any notes though about this. We'll talk on the nose first. And the nose is good. I mean,
So the first time on the nose, I just got like straight vanilla. And the longer it sat here, I'm getting more of the brown sugar and almost like a butterscotch.
Brown sugar butterscotch. Yeah. That's good.
I would agree with that, Justine. I think I get some smoky notes too. It just seems like it's more toasted. It's opened up a little bit, but it seems like a little toasted notes for me.
Fred was on top of the world just moments ago, and now
I'm not worried.
It's teetering back the other way, Fred.
No,
you
no,
gotta
no.
be careful here. All right, we're gonna
Not-
go through it.
not
Everyone's
till
gonna
you-
vote. All right.
Not till you go back.
All right. Let's taste this, and again, let's share any tasting notes we get. Whether it's the same, different. You tell us. is very good. But going back to this one on the taste, it's definitely a disservice after we just tasted Fred's. I'll say that. The finish it stands out again. That what we had on Fred's, it just feels like it was even longer. Now we'll go back to Fred's and see if that holds out, but it feels like this finish is really short now compared to what we were just tasting. What other anything else stand out?
I feel like
Getting cola, and I didn't get that earlier.
Getting some of the cola, okay. Rob, what were you saying? Sorry.
I said the spice has just kind of gone away.
Mm-hmm.
It's become
Yeah.
more sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it tastes like a snickerdoodle, but if you like replace all the wet things with just bourbon. Right? Like you're making cookies.
What does that mean? It tastes like a snickerdoodle where you replace the wet things with bourbon.
Yeah. So like if you have a cookie recipe, they're like water and milk, whatever, vanilla.
Okay.
Replace
Okay.
all of those things with bourbon and make a snickerdoodle. That's what this tastes like.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So we're getting some cinnamon sugar, right? That's what goes on the
Yeah.
stick, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Kinda
Yeah. Like
cinnamony,
big-
sweet, and yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We got there. I didn't know what we were talking about at first. We got
No,
there.
it was a journey, but we got there.
It was a journey. Yeah. Anything else of note on this one as we revisit it the second time? Okay. All right, we're gonna let that rest. I'm going to go back to Fred's. Mm. It's really good. It's kind of got like a cookie dough on the nose too there. Now that maybe McNew said that, now I'm thinking about that, but there's some of that there besides the other notes that we talked about the first time.
I would like a candle that smells like this.
Yeah, that'd be good, right? Call it Fred's Buffalo Trace pick. New candle available at the gift shop.
I would put those candles in every room of my house. Make those happen. I would buy them in the gift shop.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I always say. If the person who really develops a candle that does smell like a true Rick House, that person wins. They're a billionaire because every time you walk in there, you're like, I want my house to smell like this. You know, it's so great. And there's candles that say they smell like a Rick House, but none of them smell like that. So once someone figures that out, it's going to be amazing. All right, let's give it a taste. Here we go. Moment of truth. Yeah, it's really good, Fred. That it holds up. The finish holds up that we talked about, that long finish that we went back and revisited the first one. Finish seemed to even get shorter. This one, it holds up. That spiciness kind of sticks around all throughout your palate, all across the tongue, not in the middle, beginning, and it feels like it's kind of all over, which is really cool. So yeah, it's good. Anything else anybody wants to note about this one? Taste wise, anything stand out?
That black cherry is still there, and it's awesome. I love black cherry in a bourbon.
Yeah, you've said that on other events too. So yeah, it's not the first time you mentioned that. So absolutely. All right, I will give you guys just a minute or so you can go back and forth as you need to, taste side by side, so you can make an informed decision, and then we'll vote. We're gonna excuse Fred from voting this evening. We don't want to bias any of the audience. I feel like I know how he would vote. We'll have everyone else vote.
Steve, next time you do this, you need to send out like 3-ounce samples.
3-ounce samples.
Whoever votes for the winner. I'd say Fred's pick is a little effervescent.
Effervescent. Okay.
Maybe that's where some of the cola comes, but it pops.
That's pretty good. All right.
Pop rocks.
Pop rocks. Yeah. Fred's pick. Okay. All right. Well, we are going to vote now. Fred, I must inform you that once these votes have been cast, the decisions of the judges are final, and and we will see what is the best, and whatever it is, we're going to promote the hell out of it and say this one. So it doesn't matter, and we'll go through all votes, even if one wins over the other. We want everyone to have their vote. I'm going to start at the top. We didn't make you weigh in on any of the tasting things, but the legend himself. We'll start with Rick Renner. Rick, do you want to pick a favorite out of the two? And we're talking either the Buffalo Trace or Fred's pick is how we're doing these.
Fred's pick.
Fred's pick. Okay.
Even if my taster was off, it still tasted better. So
Tasted better, even with
yeah.
Taste being slightly off. He still liked it better. All right, Mike.
Gotta go with Fred's.
All right, Fred, you jump out to a 2-0. Don't get overconfident though. There's a lot of votes left. Don't start celebrating. Don't start high-fiving and taking a lap around the house. Nothing like that. All right, Mr. Bill.
Fred.
Fred's pick. Okay.
Absolutely.
Fred, you're taking a solid lead through the first row across my screen. You're good. All right. Next up is Brian Murphy.
Fred's pick.
Fred's pick. Okay. Fred's pick. Right. Could be a wave here coming though anytime. Barry could start something with a pick to Buffalo Trace and really get things reversed the other way. Barry, what's your pick? What's your vote? Fred's pick. Oh, he's got the card. He's got the official. He's official. Okay. All right. Very nice. All right, Brad, you're the next one on my screen. Fred's pick. Okay. Sally, how about you?
Oh, yes. Once you go Fred, you can't go back.
All right.
I mean, you can, but
it's who you least expect it from, you know?
Yeah,
This
you know,
loving little
you
couple
can't
out
go
of
back.
Indiana. Yeah. There you go. All right. McNeil, you actually get 2 votes because Chris, your husband, also tried it. So let's go with his vote first. What did Chris vote for?
I do give Chris small samples out of my samples. He voted an hour ago. He said Fred's.
Fred's, okay.
And I also say Fred's.
Fred's, okay. Fred, this is pretty close. I don't know if you're keeping track in your mind here. It's actually it's closer than you think. So don't get too confident yet. All right, Melanie.
I think if you want an excellent bourbon that is just what it is, it's a Buffalo Trace. But if you want a complex bourbon that you have to nose and taste and get through all the layers, definitely Fred's.
Fred, okay. Fred gets a vote. Okay. All right. Neil?
I was going to say the same thing. The Buffalo Trace is solid, but Fred's, this pick just really just takes it to another level.
Okay.
So
All
Fred.
right. All right. Justine?
So based on my glasses, this is my glass that still has Buffalo Trace in it.
Okay, quite a bit there.
And this is my Fred glass.
It's empty.
Be gone. So I vote Fred.
Fred, she lets the bourbon talk for itself there. All right. Rob, sometimes can be a contrarian here. So this let's see what he goes with here. Rob, what do you think?
I think Neil and Melanie said it best. So yeah, Fred by a mile. It's something you would save for special occasions.
Right. Right. Okay. Ben, what do you think?
So I tried to use like Justine's logic, but both my glasses are empty. So I'm gonna go with Buffalo Trace, Fred's pick.
Scared him. You scared him. All right, Paul, how about you?
Yeah, there's no contest. Fred's pick is hands down better.
Okay. So here's where we're at. I still get to vote. Now, Fred, once you win something, then it's not enough, right? Then once you know you want it, then you want to get all the votes. And right here's where you're at 15-0 over your regular product. And I'm the last vote, and I could really mess this thing up for you. And I got to tell you, visiting that Buffalo Trace, I would give that an A. So that gives you an idea. Well, you're in some trouble here. It's just an old school thing. But the good news for you tonight is I give you an A+, sir. That is actually the pick. It is awesome, man. Really good stuff. Congrats to Fred.
Thank you.
You hit it out of the park, buddy.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, this should be like a new job that you've got. So Buffalo Trace should be like, okay, Fred just does single barrel Buffalo Trace picks, and that's a new thing.
when I tasted from 4 different barrels, and I tasted sample A, which is this one, and I went around to B, C, and D, and B, C, and D were more like the regular Buffalo Trace.
Right.
So I
You don't
kept
want that.
coming back to A and stuck with it
Yeah.
because it was a step above.
Yeah, that's super special. Glad you picked that one.
Yeah.
You beat out 2 other single barrel picks.
Oh,
as
they
well.
had more
They
competition.
had a whole
Whoa.
side project happening. They had a side quest.
Wow.
I still buy every Buffalo Trace store pick I
Oh, me too.
find.
Yeah, because they're affordable and they're really good. What's not to like? So if
Yeah.
you see one, you grab it. Yeah, I'm the same way.
And I'm actually sad Elijah Craig doing away with their well, not small batch, but the single barrel 94 proof single pick and going to full proof now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That was a bargain at $30. So
yeah. But they're
I agree with Brad. It's the best single barrel pick Buffalo Trace I've ever had. And I get the store picks all the time too.
Wow.
There you go. There you go, Fred. That's high compliment. Yeah.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Next baseball card. When's it
Yeah.
have Fred cover so fast?
Well,
You better sign those.
yeah. Fred, do you want to do any sort of victory speech or anything? Well, this is unprecedented. We haven't had anybody do this before. So
I mean, I'm just humbled. I mean, that's all I can say. I do my thing, and this is how it comes out. I don't try to do anything special. And
we appreciate you, my friend. We had a lot of fun tonight. We joked around.
Yeah.
You're sweating and all this stuff. And
I was sweating earlier. I was definitely sweating earlier.
Yeah, but we appreciate you, and it's always good. I enjoy when you come on these events, and I see out there, and I lean on you on a lot of these things too. You're on there because your palate's great, and so so this just shows it, and what a great compliment by your company to come to you and say to do something like this, and you to think of us and allow us to do this with our group is really a cool thing. So
and it just shows that the longer you do enjoy bourbon and drink bourbon, the more your palate does mature, because I couldn't have done anything like this years ago.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, that's good to know, because we get a lot of folks that all different that have been doing this all different amount of times, and sometimes you get someone who's new to it and they'll be like, I'm no good at these things, but you can kind of grow and train your palate.
Yeah.
And there are things that you can do to help you out and get better at that. And so what you're saying is actually very good advice and helpful for someone who's just getting into it. And I think some of it is just to feel a little bit overwhelmed. When someone new's coming in here, we do this all the time with especially a lot of folks that are on here. We get together a lot and do these things. And I think sometimes it can be like, you don't want to say anything because you don't want to say something wrong, even though you can't say anything wrong. You're talking about what you're tasting, so I think it's good to hear something like that, Fred, especially somebody like coming from you. So that's cool. Very cool stuff. Well, that is the event. We wanted to learn a little bit more about this process, what happened, how Fred got to get this pick. We wanted to taste it side by side with the standard, the regular Buffalo Trace. And Fred, you exceeded all of our expectations, my friend. Very good. So
thank you.
Really one of the best picks. Fantastic.
Yeah, let's hear it one last time for Fred.
Thank you.
We do have some people that watch the video and play along at home that aren't able to make the event. So that's pretty cool. They'll be watching this, and hopefully they went through the whole process and gave Fred a couple more votes. And Fred, we're going to get out there. We're going to get a group together, and we're going to come out and see you. Okay, my friend?
Definitely. And I'll definitely set up a private tour for y'all.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Count us in. We'll get on that right away. And with that, we'll say goodbye. I'll stick around as I always do, but we'll say goodbye to our at-home audience. Thanks.